Jim Cook, and I head up the Northeast sales and government sales for Subzero out of Maryland, out of the DC area. So I've been in the data center industry for 15 years, and before that with integrators and partners selling to the federal government. Well, I have a broad experience in data centers, from power and cooling, busway systems, overhead busway in the data centers, down into the rack to the PDU strips. So I have a really broad knowledge of the rack and what it takes to power and cool that rack. I've been involved in projects that have been small to large projects. One of my largest projects that I've done was with the Department of Health and Human Services, and we had a cold aisle containment project, and really that's the one that led me to join Subzero. Well, with my background in data center, primarily the white space, knowing power cooling, containment was a natural fit, and it was a way to better control the environment and really to get meters and sensors and everything that you need to work properly, because you can't really do that if your air is mixing, all the hot and cold air is mixing. It showed me and demonstrated the value of containment. Containment is a necessary solution for the data center. It's required if you really want to get control of your environment. That's what's key and critical. There's no way to control your environment unless you have some type of containment. We're separating the hot and cold air, but we're controlling either one of those so that once you control that air, then your sensors work better, more accurate, give you a better reading of your temperatures, your environment, humidity, other things like that in the aisle. There's so much value to containment in the data center world. With the price of power today, the constraints on power, the containment not only gives you control, but it allows you to even increase the power in your racks. So you can take a rack that maybe was running at 5 kW, because you're applying more cooling to it, maybe you can take it to 7 kW, 10 kW. We've had situations where we put in containment, and after doing what's called a CFD, we could talk about that later, but measuring the computational fluid dynamics in the aisle, we can determine really if we can take maybe even an air conditioner offline. So there's a lot of value to containment in that it can save you lots of dollars in your power and cooling. So Subzero, we're not the cheapest in the market, but we do have the highest quality. So, like a lot of other things out there today, you get what you pay for. And with Subzero, you get that not only in the containment, but you get that in our team. We have team members in engineering that perform computational fluid dynamics. A lot of times we'll include that as part of a project. We have engineering, where we'll do drawings, designs of the containment, and it goes to the product itself, is that our product is extremely high quality. We've got doors that have a mean time before failure of 1 million cycles. We've gone to great lengths to deliver products that last, and we back that up by our warranty. If you use our installation, our site services team, that warranty increases to 2 years, and that's on-site labor and parts for 2 years. So we back up what we stand for. When we approach a project, we approach it from a full view, top-down view, if you want to call it, a high-level view, in that we look at it from not only what your layout is in your room, but all the different requirements that you may have for that room. What is your goals? Is it cooling? Is it increasing power? What is it? We can help with that. We'll go to great lengths to determine whether it's hot or cold aisle containment. We'll bring our team in, a CFD engineer, our design engineers. We'll look at the best structure for you, whether it be doors, is it panels, what type of materials will help you meet your fire ratings, because a lot of these projects require special fire or have to meet special fire regulations. And we've got all different sorts of materials, ASTM ratings to meet those materials. Well, the quality of our product, it goes to our engineering, product design, development that we've got, the type of materials we use, the finishes we use that go into that, but as importantly as the product itself is the installation. We have our own site services team that installs our product nationwide, and we've been doing that for 15 years. And again, we offer it and back it up by a 2-year warranty. There's nobody out there that can install the product better. So when we talk about a full turnkey solution, it's from design, helping you select the right products, implement those, install them, and a lot of times we'll do reporting at the back end to let you know what you've received. Basically, starting out, what were your goals and that you've achieved those, and your ROI. I joined Subzero in 2016. I was a partner for 3 years with Subzero with a rep firm out of the DC, Maryland area. And I worked on a project for the federal government with DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services. And I was so impressed by the Subzero site services installation team by the way they executed on that project. It was not an easy environment. The general contractor was very demanding and had a tight schedule to finish on. And they pushed the schedule too hard, and they pushed up commissioning, which is when you basically turn on the data center and you turn on the power, and the cooling at that point wasn't quite working properly yet. So they were commissioning the power. But when they did that, as we talked about, power generates heat. They installed it when they were doing this commissioning, and they finished it. And the lead tech that was installing that day sent all of our technicians home except one, who was a senior tech like himself, so they could stay and finish that job. And they stayed and finished that job through the evening, till late at night, because there was only 2 of them, to get it done. And it so impressed me, it stayed with me a long time. And when Subzero approached me as one of their partners and said, hey, we've got an opening in the Mid-Atlantic area, would you like to join us? The main reason I joined was because of that experience with the site services team. I was so impressed. So our site services team is excellent at tackling the hardest problems. What do I mean by that? As we go into an environment, it could be at night, right? We have to work through the night. Financials require that, we do that. I have a situation, my personal client, where some of the roofs that we're putting on, the containment roofs, were not the right size for whatever reason. But our site services team took care of it. In the field, they did the slight modifications of the roof and they made it work. And that's what's great about our site services team. They go out to a job, they attack it, they get it done, and most of the time, as in myself in sales or the client, doesn't really know that there was issues. They just take care of it. One recent example, the data center that I was at, I saw where our team took aluminum extrusion and cut out about a 6-inch, almost 360-degree circle to make a pipe fit. It was a complete field modification, but they did it and it looked great. Our site services team can tackle the biggest problems and solve it, and most of the time you don't even know that it took place. I can walk into a data center and know that Subzero products installed and that our installation team did the work. And those are the 2 things. When you talk about a complete turnkey, there's design, there's implementation, but it's the product quality that you can look at, the finishes of the aluminum, the cuts in the aluminum and the doors, roofs, and you know that it's been produced by quality manufacturing, processes and people. And I can go into a data center and see that, but it also goes to the installation to know that the brackets are installed properly. They've been drilled in properly. And if I go in right after installation, there's nothing left. There's no shavings, there should be nothing left. We use HEPA vacs every time we do an installation to make sure we leave that data center spotless, because that's key. Because it's not really about the containment, it's about the customer's environment and making sure we leave it in a proper condition, environmental conditions for their business. My first experience with containment was back in 2010, and unfortunately it was with not as high quality product as Subzero. And that product was delivered, we ordered it in black, it came in chrome, it was wrong. But more than that, it was just the whole process was extremely difficult to get it done. We had to get it installed by a contractor, a third party, versus someone like Subzero that built the product. And then we had to do basically build a roof, which is a hard panel roof, which is not easy. And I was visiting a client and I was walking through the data center and I looked up and I saw this beautiful roof. I walked in, I saw first beautiful doors, and I looked up, I saw this beautiful roof. And it had material, was kind of a corrugated material. And I asked the client, I said, what is that? And he said, well, that's my Subzero containment. And that client was so proud of his product. He took me in his office, he showed me a brochure, and he said, you can keep it. And it had the rep's name on it from Subzero. And I called that rep and I said, hey, I saw your containment. I said, the first one I ever installed was so difficult to put in. It just didn't look like your product. The doors weren't as nice. They didn't operate as nice. Before the end of the conversation, we talked about becoming partners. And I signed our company up at that time. The rep firm I worked for was a partner direct with Subzero. And they were so much easier to deal with than the other company, the first containment product I sold. When I'm doing a quote for a client or working with a client, I try to get across all the value that we bring and to the quality, to have them almost touch it virtually. The best, thing that you could do is to touch the product, to go out and see it. It's always difficult, but I try to arm the customer with as much information as possible that we have available. So price is not everything. I'll take the client through basically the whole life cycle of our product and experience with Subzero, so they can almost feel like they're touching it. But there's nothing like seeing the product and comparing it to others. So I will ask them if they've seen our competitors' products before. Some have, some haven't. I have them talk about that, and I'll talk about the differences that we have as well, and try to make that come to light. But we do have a lot of excellent materials, white papers, and information that can get them familiar with our products. When it comes to life cycle of the product, the proof of our life cycle is the clients that keep coming back to us, repetitive purchases. I can't tell you the number of clients that I have in the Northeast area that come back to us again and again. And it's because of the quality of our product, it's because of our services and installation team, and it's because of our team and our support behind it that they keep coming back. The products just last. The Subzero difference is the people you work with, and that would be the team behind me, and that would be our support team, that would be engineering. We have engineers that do computational fluid dynamic studies, before and after containment. We have design engineers we can consult with on the best design for your data center. We can evaluate with that team, hot or cold aisle containment, which one is best for you. Basically taking that whole relationship, moving it into the sales environment, which is always the tricky one, working with clients, meaning that you're talking about price, right? And you don't want always to be about price. Unfortunately, in our business, it's super competitive. But we win on quality a lot of times, and clients that know us and have the experience with us, once they have the Subzero experience, they want to come back and do it again. Over the last couple of years, we've experienced the pandemic, and it took a strong corporation to back us up as Subzero to make it through that financially. We are an extremely financially sound company. We've got great management in place. We've got great support people in place. There's been a lot of changes to Subzero. A lot of new people have come in from other companies within the Seneca Holdings family that have really strengthened us up. And I've seen that take place over the last couple years since Seneca purchased us in 2017. So the strength of Seneca behind us gives us that power in the marketplace to stand for long term that other companies can't. And we do that by the company investing in us. We bring out new products, we innovate on our products, we add quality people, we make sure we're delivering quality products and services to our clients and continue to do that. Well, I've been with Subzero 7 years, direct. I was a partner before that for 3 years, and I've seen the company grow. And the thing that impresses me the most is the evolution of the company. It's grown, it's changed from building the containment out of someone's garage that started the company to today where it is in a 150,000 square foot facility. We're backed by a huge corporation, Seneca Holdings, that gives us a lot of resources that we need to continue the expansion in our product line. And we've done that. We've added our Essential line to the Elite line, and we've filled that out. We've got our full complement of services that we offer. So I've seen the evolution of the company over the last 7 years, and I've stayed here because I enjoy the people, but I really like to work for a company that continues to innovate and to come out with new products and services and take care of the customer. And that's the thing that Subzero does better than anybody.